We will now welcome and request the panels to come on stage.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. And we have a very interesting topic today to discuss. That's a financial literacy. So before we go ahead, why don't we have a very quick introduction by our panel? Rohit, I will start with you. And Rohit, I'm going to tell the digital engagement voice. His expertise are in consumer behavior, digital engagement, and financial communication. Why don't you introduce very quickly yourself, Rohit?
Yeah, so I have been in the financial literacy and the fintech domain for the last 15 years. I have worked with National Payments Corporation of India. I have worked with Equentis. I have worked with Billdesk, and currently I lead digital transformation at SBI Mutual Fund.
Correct, thank you. Then we have Ruchita Tandon, Chief Growth Officer, Aspire for Her, and I'm going to tell her the inclusion voice, working exceptionally well on trust, woman, and confidence.
Thank you so much. My name is Ruchita Tandon. I'm the Chief Growth Officer at Aspire for Her. At Aspire for Her, we have a mission and vision to add 1 million women in the workforce by 2025. And 2025 is done, so the question is, where are we? Yes, we did impact 1 million in October 2025. And our next goal is to impact 10 million by 2030. We do it using the power of communities and networks. And for us, it's not about women just entering into the workforce, but also staying there. So as part of communities, right from women in college, all the way up to women leaders is what we work. And we simply work on a mindset change formula. And that's where the crux of everything is, with a clear focus, which is 3E, employment, entrepreneurship, or education that leads to one of the two.
Thanks a lot. And then we have Aditya. Aditya is DCM, Lead Financial Alliance and Strategy with Aditya Vida Capital. And I'm going to term him as a growth strategist, working on fintech and UX mainly. Aditya?
So, hi guys, everyone. So, it's been more than 7.5 years that I'm working with the ecosystem, building the entire idea of what fintech looks like, what the new age distributors is all about, and how the entire generation is switching from papers to now being part of the two-click journey or one-click journey of investing into any financial. So, that's what I support all kind of fintech. I help them out to grow, understand from where they can go from 0 to 1. So, that's
Thanks a lot. And myself, Rupesh. I was originally economics and analyst, which I am still there. But being a professor, I am going to give you some numbers. Highest saving rate in India, 30%. But over the year, only 5 to 6% has been invested in financial assets. COVID time, we have seen 11%. After COVID, again, we back to our long-term memory, that is 6%. 13 crore unique investors. In mutual fund, we have 4 crore active investors. Our mutual fund AUM only 20%, world average 60%, US average 110%. So my my concern is digital literacy is not a problem. We were just discussing that. Academic literacy, not a problem. The problem is financial literacy. So, and also the SEBI and NCFF have done a survey. They are telling financial literacy in India is only 27 to 30% post-independence, very, very low. So my first question would be, what does the financial literacy mean to you in this digital world? Rohit?
Yeah, so for me, financial literacy is trying to simplify financial concepts as much as possible. This is a little aspirational, something that I personally want to be a part of. But today, booking a cab through Ola or Uber is simple, right? Ordering food on Swiggy and Zomato is simple, right? A lot of people still have trouble trying to understand what a long-term investment is, whether it's a mutual fund, whether it's a stock investment. I'll not speak a lot about the short-term nature of investments, which are a little speculative in nature. People have become accustomed to it. It's become a one-click journey. But I think from a literacy perspective, the fact that investment is meant to be compounding, is meant to be long-term, is meant to change your life. I think communicating that concept in a very, very simple way, that investment is the key to wealth creation, I think that is what financial literacy or digital literacy means to me.
What are your views on financial literacy?
So for me, it is very clear. Financial literacy is taking charge of one's own finances. And as women, I feel that is also the key to being financially independent.
I believe financial literacy is not about knowing what to invest, but rather than understanding where to invest, what the risk is all about, how well your discipline is, how well you know that even if the market crashes, you need to know where you need to put your money in. If I can tell you, financial literacy is not constrained. It's more of understanding now where you would be landing in your next future round.
Yeah, so that will take me to our first theme for the day, access, understanding and inclusion. And since you talk about today, we are having financial inclusion. SEBI has taken their own regulations on that. Today, access is not a problem. We have FinApp. Today, by sitting here, I can invest in any asset class, right from FD to crypto. But what do you think that today's young user they are active just because they are having access? What do you think? Just I am access, I am active, but I am not knowing about the product.
So I'll give you an understanding. If you look at past 8 to 10 years back, when fintech as an ecosystem or investment as an ecosystem came into picture, particularly for the new generation that are coming into segment, it was just knowing about where to invest. But now, technically, it's not the same thing. Your applications, everyone is showing you what goal that you are targeting in. So suppose for a new generation, if you want to get married, if there's a short-term goal like you want to get married or you want to buy a car, or from there to buying a long-term retirement goal, even for the middle order Generation Z and Generation Millennial, who are now becoming parents, finally are understanding the idea of actually investment for their child. So I have been speaking to my elders, my grandfathers and everything. They didn't have an idea about that they could have saved a lot of money in terms of investment for future education, the kind of expensive the education has been so far. So the pain point is not the understanding of where to invest, it's just that with today's generation, the only problem that I face around is the market depth. There is too much noise in the market. Those short reels and those short expectations across market gives you a niche number of understanding. Okay, this is the thing. Like the silver rally came into picture, or the gold rally that came into understanding. People didn't understand, okay, why it is necessary into your asset classes. They were allocating everything 100% towards gold and silver. And then when the silver dipped down, people just came and started trying, okay, it didn't work around. They didn't understand that they could have actually allocated 50%, 40% equity, 40% in debt, and few in terms of whatever portfolio risk that you have.
So it was more like I'm entering to a station, train is running, without understanding just boarding the train, without knowing where it is going. So you clearly mentioned the point, and that I will take you to you, Aditya. Do you think today fintech platforms are not only service driven, they have become a fintech supermarket? So today's fintech are more consumption driven or education driven?
If I'll be honest, I'll say they are consumption driven, right? And you have to be honest. While there is the entire direction of trying to be financially educative and be education driven, but I think the word that you used, marketplace and transactional in nature, it has become transactional. I mean, the number of asset classes that a young person or a person of any age is exposed to today, I mean, immense number of asset classes, right? You have mutual fund, you have delivery stocks, you have F&O, you have commodities, you have crypto, you have FDs, you have corporate FDs, and a plethora of options. And all of that is actually leading to confusion. I mean, investment, yeah, fine, there is a concept of asset allocation, there is a concept of multiple asset classes, but investment in its simplest term is long-term compounding, long-term savings. right? The more you try and complicate that with different product differentiations, it's going to become more and more difficult. And the fintech apps, I'm talking about everybody in the industry, have kind of, forgotten the educational route and are becoming transactional platforms. That's my honest opinion.
Thank you. We are going to discuss more on that in our next team. So Ruchita, fortunately we have more female audience today, so I am saved on that. So we were just discussing, today government has done a very good thing with Jandan, with UPI. But if you look at MFI data, total contribution of women is still not 30% in mutual fund. World Bank came out with a very good study, and they are telling that the workforce participation of women right now in India is around 35%. If the equality comes, it is going to contribute 27% to the GDP. So why do you think, forget about investing in mutual fund, total participation in workforce, that is leading to lower participation into financial asset investment? What are your views? Because you have worked exceptionally well into this thing. And what is your, some story if you want to enlighten the audience also?
I'll come up with a couple of stories because since we work with communities of women, I also see a lot of women in this room. And thanks for being very honest. I think that is one of the things. See, in the data, if you look at the global gender gap index, Rupesh, we are actually fifth from the bottom.
Right.
And the number of participating women in the country is only 18%. This is the formal economy that is actually done. So you can imagine how many women are working and how many are earning. But if I have to go a little into the depth of it, let's look at when women started earning formally a salary or they started working, which was a paid labor. I think probably it was 70s when women started formally earning. Prior to that, women were only associated with caregiving. So you could be a doctor, probably a nurse, and I think it was only expected to be teachers. As things evolved, people realized that banks is a good place because at that time in a bank you only had like a cashier, the bank used to shut at 2:30. It merged very well with a woman's lifestyle that children are going to come back from school. That's how banking started as the first career for women. Now, given the consideration that even infrastructurally, organizations do not have a woman's toilet to begin with, right? It means that typically, the way Indian families worked, it was assumed that the husband is going to make all the decisions, whether it is money. So this is the way the Indian ecosystem has grown, that, the head of the house is the husband. Now, whether he knows or not, he accepts it or not. He is taking the decisions to whatever he knows. The rest part is still another thing, but as of now, it is only he taking. So I think typically with all the multitasking that women do, it is assumed that probably your husband is going to do it. I'll give you a simple example, and this is a real life study that we had at Aspire for her. We were born in COVID, and during the second wave of COVID, a lot of women lost their primary breadwinners. And looking at that, we started a community of Not Alone, which was women who did not have any kind of background of, being in 3E, had no other way of continuing a journey of financial independence. Some of them actually were thinking of committing suicide. And we saw women actually go and pay up for the insurance of their dead husbands. They didn't know how to go and pay the hospital bill because they had no clue of the account. How much money is that? People tried to, their in-laws took them out from the house. Women didn't know about the will, on whose name it is. And because of this, we started this community of Not Alone. So if I have to talk between men and women, it's not that men know everything. It is assumed that women are not doing it. But the fact is that women have just started with formal economy some years back. And only 18% of the women are working. So there is change. It's just that it is a little slow. It's a little bit of the societal expectation. These are some of the norms that have been created, and it's just going to take a little bit more time. Like if I see a generation a little above me, probably women, if you have to look at need and want, it was none of that. And then came the need, because if a woman lost her husband, she knew that she had to take charge. But between need and want, earlier it was nothing. Now, it has become a need and a want both in terms of financial literacy. So times are changing from that generation to our generation. We are even talking in those days where I still see a lot of manufacturing organizations not having infrastructure for women. And we are talking of financial decisions, right? So there's a lot of change society has to also get besides it.
So there are two things. One is intent to invest, and second thing is trust. So where do you think the barriers are coming? Are they right now more intent to invest? And when so मैं decide कर लिया I want to invest, then come the trust issue. Where to invest? So what are your views on that? Intent versus
See,
trust.
intent everybody has. Who doesn't like more money? Who doesn't like to multiply money? एक money plant लगाने से money नहीं होता है. Although they say it's a good luck. Okay? But everybody likes it. Now I'll give you a simple example, and this happened with me also. I think financial literacy awareness sessions are in abundance. There is no dearth of it, you know. And everybody, but how much of it is genuine, because everybody is trying to sell their product through it, right? Now let's keep the product aside. I've done a financial literacy session. Now you tell me, after the session is over, I got a question. Okay, now tell what is your first investment. I was blank. After learning everything of financial literacy, where do I go and invest that first money of mine? So one of the things we realized is also that women need a little bit of hand-holding at the moment. Maybe not the younger generation, but primarily women do need a little bit of hand-holding. I'll come up with another example, because we work with such a large community of 1 million. We worked on rural entrepreneurship program. Financial literacy happened to be a big part, and digital literacy was also. Now, did we just tell them what digital literacy is or financial literacy? No. We actually handheld them. So when we talked about financial literacy, we helped them with digital payments. How do you work on UPIs? The reason is, if they have to move their business out of their villages, how are they going to collect the money, right? That is one of the things. The second part is, if I'm looking at digital literacy, WhatsApp for business is the easiest way to teach them, because they can create their websites. I can't ask them that please do a website. But in this case, we actually handheld them and made sure that WhatsApp for business was activated for them. Today, let me tell you, all of them can manage UPI payments. All of them do business over WhatsApp. They have created their catalogs. So it is a little bit about also hand-holding them. My own bhajiwali, she doesn't know how to read and write. She is probably just a Maharashtrian. And one fine day after COVID, I don't know, I still remember and I can't forget. And I said, ki, Ranjana, मला आज हे भाजी दे आणि मी तुला नंतर पैसे देईन. UPI करा ना तुम्ही. Now this lady, anytime I tell her to write the bill, she says, I don't know how to read and write. आज पोरगा नाही आहे, मी नाही करणार. This is her answer. But when it comes to UPI, so the other thing is that even if somebody has enabled you with it, how easy is that platform? How easy it is? How comfortable you are? How safe it is? How secure it is? I think these form a lot of part of trust also. And today everybody says, one link and there is a fraud. There is so much of fear going on, and if women are not earning that money and are not financially independent, if they don't fall in that 18%, and the money they have also they lose. I think that's a lot that happens.
Great. So let's come to now behavior and risk, right? We just talk about financial platform giving the education. So has it simplified it, too much simplify कर दिया है, or it is superficial? So two things है. Either I'm making through finance education it's very simple. You start investing, mutual fund सही है, or it has become too superficial. Like yesterday there was a session on crypto. They were simplifying. They were telling people literally replace your FD with crypto. That's not a good way to tell people to invest in crypto जिसने कभी FD भी नहीं किया है. So what are your views? Is finance influencer or the education video what we are watching every day?
Yeah, I think, again, I'm going to be honest here. Very, very difficult to distinguish between genuine financial advice and what a influencer tells you, right? And I'm not saying that everybody is telling you the wrong thing, but the ability to differentiate, or to be able to differentiate, it's so difficult, right? I mean, you gave an example of crypto as an asset class. Yeah, if you allow me to be a little aggressive, I'm going to be a little aggressive. Rightly so. You said that somebody who's never invested in an FD is even considering crypto as an asset class, right? Okay, go ahead and put all your money in crypto. I'm no one to give financial advice from this forum. It's not a financial advisory session, right? But just understand the fundamental nuances of an asset class. Understand why you should be holding on to an FD. Understand why you should be owning a crypto. Understand why you should be owning a stock. Understand why you should be owning a mutual fund. If you have that understanding, it's your money. Do whatever you want with it. But if you don't have that understanding, and if you're going to chase the next fad because a financial influencer based out of anywhere in the world or anywhere in India is coming and telling you that this is something that they need to, they advise that you should do, I would say that it's going to make your life more difficult. See, at the end of the day, it's an individual hard-earned money. Whether it's 1,000 rupees or it's 1 lakh rupees or 1 crore rupees, it is hard-earned money. Right, and you should only invest it in an instrument which you understand, right? And many of these financial influencers, if you dig a little bit deeper, what do they do, right? How are they making money? There are two ways in which they are making money. Around 70% of them will have an educational course, and that's how they make money, right? They teach you how to invest, right? And you pay not for the returns, you pay for learning how to invest. You pay for learning how to invest in the wrong way most of the times, right? That's number one. And second, on YouTube and on Facebook, you are the product, right? They get, because of advertisements on those platforms, they are compensated by Instagram, they are compensated by YouTube for the view time that you and I are giving them, right? How can that advice be genuine? If you have ever gone to a casino and you have an advisor from the casino, how on earth can that be genuine? How can that person whose revenue is linked to something which is not in your interest be genuine? And that's why, we spoke so much about trust. The earlier question was on trust, right? And ma'am said that there is intent, and I completely agree. Intent is there to invest money, but the trust deficit is immense. It's immense. All of us, even on the panel, have been trapped by deficit of trust, whether that's by a financial influencer or that's by a financial advisor, so-called financial advisor who's a misadvisor. Right?
So am I paying for the education and getting overconfidence, maybe?
Oh yes, you are, 100%. You are paying for the wrong thing, right? You're paying, obviously you are an educator and you know how powerful education is. You know how powerful education is, right? But if you're doing it the wrong way, if you're doing it for a hidden gain, you know how damaging that miseducation or mis-selling can be, right?
So Aditya, how this new fintech platform can take care of this impulsive buying? How you can differentiate between a long-term investment and short-term? Are people still looking at a long-term return, or they are ignoring the risk?
So, depending on the age group, first I'll come to the impulsive buying behavior. Technically, across all the tech platforms that are coming, has given you a kind of address that you can actually now do things in 2 or 3 clicks, technically. You look at from Zomato, you look at from Blinkit, it's like 30 minutes and you're getting the same thing that you used to take around 7 to 8 days to come in picture. Second thing, in terms of long-term, short-term buying, the age group can be differed. If you look at the new age group from 18, now I've seen people investing from 18 years old. When I was taking a lecture at a certain college, MBA college, and I was talking to them about what are your thoughts on investing and everything, they say that we don't want to miss the market trends. Or in the Gen Z lingo, I would say it's a FOMO, fear of missing out. Well, I asked them, what exactly are you looking at? They were like, okay, this is the, even you looked at the time when COVID came into picture. A lot of new demand account came into segment. People were IPO frenzy. They didn't understand why we are investing into IPO. It is like my friend is getting into the stock, let me get into the stocks too. So how fintechs should, or how they are helping out is that they are showing them the idea of baskets, that what funds you should select across. And how would this investing for 3 to 5 years would give you a certain return as compared to what you're investing for 3 to 6 months. Like I saw people doing intraday in crypto and losing a lot of money across. It's like you understand what kind of risk are you looking at. So rather than, my statement has always been in the same favor. Understand the two minds of investing. Either you can be aggressive, you can be moderate, or you can be at the balance. I speak to the other age group when I speak to people, heavy investors, the HNI investors from 45 to 60, they have been investing for a very good time. And that shows the power of compounding, that shows the power of long-term investment. So that's the kind of, even I do kind of the research. I was an impulsive buyer, I am not denying the fact. I have been investing into crypto for a very good time, and now I am paying the price in some of the other way. But now I finally understood that yes, if I have 100 rupees, I need to allocate in certain assets so that I can take risk for 20 rupees and the rest of 80 rupees is compounding and creating a wealth for me.
Are we overestimating digital inclusion?
I think there is lots that's happening in the name of digital inclusion, right? You've got apps. Everybody comes, gives a session, app download kar lo. Everywhere there is too much that is happening. But when I'm talking about it, I will always come back to awareness and the confidence that is associated with all of this. And again, digital always is a boon or a bane. Sorry, but I always have a lot of real life examples, and this is something which I have witnessed in my house. So, bank accounts got connected with the Aadhaar card, and then you went and updated your Aadhaar card with bank accounts. And I'm going to come a little bit, Aditya, to your part also, and both of you gave very, very good points, and I have to tell, we've been to a couple of colleges, and when we talk about some kind of literacy session, the principal says, इन बच्चों को सिर्फ पैसा बनाना है, आप stocks और इसमें कुछ भी कर लो. So it is easy money, nobody wants to work hard. That's the truth. And as he mentioned, if you're going and following influencers, the credibility in terms of actually taking some of these certified courses. See, we've got to teach children about it, right? Today when we do a SSC, HSC, these are all certified books. There's a curriculum to it. Now, who does the awareness? So when I was coming to this session about the Aadhaar card and all, I have a maid who's been working with me for a long time. And when this Aadhaar card and bank account came, she lost her husband, so her brother-in-law helped her. And one fine day, she was just crying because she went to the bank and she had no money in it, and she had got all her husband's PF, he was working in some way, and she had about 2-3 lakhs, she used to go and put her money. Now, I was also wondering, she's got her Aadhaar card, she's got everything. So then my husband is also a banker, so then he asked, and then we tried to find out. Apparently, the brother-in-law, in the context of helping, got her Aadhaar card done and linked her bank account, her Aadhaar card with his, and the account on his name. So the OTP went to him with that. But what I'm saying is, now people who are earning, who know about money, what are we doing to actually do general awareness? Everybody's selling their product. It's only become a matter of sales for everybody. But if you have to look at deep down how we are changing lives, and it's very easy to make the transactions because, as you mentioned, it's just a click of a button. Can we really insert some security layers? It's as simple as that, because depending on the mood you are, and today's children, the FOMO part is very, very high. They will just go and do a click. I've also seen in Gen Z my own son, and my son started investments pretty early. So the day he started, he turned 18. I think he told my husband that I want some money and I'm going to make my first investments. So my husband gave him a little bit, and he, as usual, decided easy money, so I have to invest it better. But he went with a proper approach because I think he had guidance. He could see a role model. He studied about the market. He did it. And today that compounding, the way it has helped, and it has nothing to do with men or women, it is just about awareness and understanding. It's your hard-earned money. So my thing, again, I always come, it is more about, now where does confidence come from? I'll give you again a simple example. In school, I've seen school children either love maths or hate maths. There's nobody in between. And the reason is very simple. If your funda are not clear in the starting, you can never build maths, right? It is similar thing that either you know financial literacy, you will automatically be confident. If you don't know about it, the confidence is not going to come. So it is about creating that confidence through proper guidance and handholding. Once you do that, each of these things that we are talking about now actually will see a change.
I hope everybody has seen the Spider-Man movie. with power comes great responsibility, right? So that's the last thing for the day, technology and responsibility. Aditya, I will start with you. How can the financial literacy can be embedded into product design itself rather than looking at a separate product?
So I'll give you an understanding. I won't take the name, but I was sitting with a group of Gen Zs eventually, where we were helping a fintech build a development. And there is a statement that they came was कि आदित्य अगर प्रगति में टाटा और घाटा नहीं होगा तो मजा कैसे आएगा? And I started laughing, and then I understood how these things can actually help us around to build a financial literacy. So, and this is where fintechs actually have started around to look forward to, is the time when you're actually selecting a fund or you're starting to select a stocks. Give an actual pop-up notification stating that what this fund is all about, what this sector does. Give a detailed knowledge, at least a video, 25-30 seconds video where people, a fund manager or an experienced person could come and tell about this market. Okay, this is how the entire market structure works. The sector works, whether it's IT, whether it's pharma, whether it's medical. This is how things, and this is one way. We have been suggesting this with multiple fintechs, and fintechs are coming and picking it up. That even while buying that fund, so even if you're buying a mutual fund and if you're going into a flexi cap, what exactly is those flexi cap? How does it define into small, large and mid cap? How does it work? How does the stock selection work? If you're going into passive and if there is an index that you are following up, why are you following up? What are the comparison against this index versus that index? So this is one way, it's a pop-up notification, WhatsApp communication across. My idea is listeners should actually go and look at this podcast, listen to all the AMCs and stock houses. You see a lot of fund managers putting a lot of content these days addressing exactly what the problem is. Deep dive into it. Understand Sharpe ratios, understand every terminology and then get it. The application is trying to educate you, but are you ready to get educated? That's what the case is.
Responsibility engagement can come in finance education. Because when I am looking at the video, मेरे को लगेगा इसको इसका प्रोडक्ट बेचना है. Because they are definitely biased towards my product which I want to sell. So how this balance can come between the financial literacy responsibility and also not overselling my product, because I am getting very overwhelmed. So many products are there. उसमें से आप आके confuse कर रहे हो मुझे. So how that balance can be struck?
Yeah, I think there are two aspects to this, right? One is us at a manufacturer level or a distributor level, right? There is a way to educating in the right direction, and I'll give a very, very simple example, right? SEBI is very clear that the classification of mutual funds has to be in 6 categories, right? We spoke about multi-cap, spoke about large, mid, and we mentioned about that, right? Yet you see fund houses come up with 100 plus schemes, right? And you're right, it's overwhelming, right? And I talk to customers day in and day out. The regret that customers have is that I have got a XIRR of 13%, but if I would have invested in some other fund, it would have been 14%. And then you flip the story. I have got an XIRR of 10%. Oh, thank God I invested in this 10%. The other fund gave me 9%. Sir, I'll tell you honestly, it doesn't matter in the long run. A 1 or 2% here and there, and nobody can predict, right? Not even the best fund manager in the country knows how his fund is going to do, right? I spend all my time interacting with multiple fund managers. I've been in this industry for the last 15 years. Tell me a single fund manager who confidently says that he can tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. Nobody knows. And in that situation, if you are able to appreciate that one as a brand and educate people that, everything is the right investment so long as you do it with the right expectation, right? I'll go to the extent of saying, and probably you'll agree with me, right? Pick up any fund, keep it for 10 years, you have to be really, really unlucky to lose money. Very, very unlucky. Pick up any AMC fund, right? You pick up any market classification, large, small, mid, flexi, thematic, sectoral, anything. Okay, you have to be extremely, extremely lucky not to be able to make money, right? So that's how you should educate people. And on the second side, as a consumer, if you can appreciate this statement, right, that pick up anything, okay, do not go with the FOMO of saying that in 10 years my friend has a CAGR of 13.7%, but I have of 12.3%. Boss, it does not matter, right? Your money is going to compound when you give it time. You're not in a race, okay? You're in a race with yourself. Your 100 rupees should become 1000 in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. It will become 1000 one day, right? You just have to go with that belief, and I think that's going to solve it to a large extent.
Right. Ruchita, very quickly, the last question to you. Do you have any idea how the fintech platform better assigned to the women investment, those who are working maybe for the first time, or maybe they are coming after a break?
Okay. That's a great question. I think more than looking at how the fintech platform is, the first is start education young. I think that is the key for men, women, for everybody. And if women are first time working, it is the first salary coming. I think this should be also the duty of a corporate in order to, educate these women, because they are going to vet the resources who are going to come into it. So it's very important, and we see a lot of women actually dropping out from the workforce, and that's the pipeline that moves out. If we can help these women with financial literacy so that they understand the power of their money, I don't think women will ever move out of the workforce. That is one of the things. The second is, as I was talking a little while back in the discussions, that AI is, more women need to come in AI because you need a diverse thinking when you're giving up with solutions. Similarly, I think products also have to look at a woman's requirement and be based on that. And each one of us knows that if you're at a different stage of your life, at a different journey, when you're young, you have a different requirement. When you reach mid, your investment stage, and when you are at, maybe in your 50s, you're looking at, more in terms of health, where you want money to be there. Initially, you're looking for your children's education. So you need to have that emotional quotient also for women. And we always say ACT, ACT. It is about awareness, it is about confidence, and what is most important is the transaction. And until you reach T, we will all be always at A.
I'm coming into my professional mode, very fast, rapid fire. Okay, we'll start with one financial habit everybody should adopt.
Savings.
Start young.
I am towards savings too, so I think me and
Okay, so copied answer. For me, it's discipline. One mistake people should avoid in finance, yeah.
Chasing trends.
So what did you mention?
One financial mistake people should avoid.
I think following influencers.
Same.
chasing returns.
One word for the future of financial literacy.
Inclusive.
Financial independence.
Consistency.
Only personalization. And lastly, revenue non-intervention to improve significantly financially.
Make it a part of your primary school curriculum. Start young.
I think I would say the same.
I'm on the same side.
I mean, it's a one answer we wouldn't copy each other. It was a very, very fruitful discussion we had. So technology has definitely opened the door. The literacy is going to tell us how we can drive it. And as you likely mentioned, we have the access. Now we need the awareness, and then we can get into action. Thank you very much for your precious time and insightful input which you have given. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from audience? We just have 1 minute. Anybody want to ask anything? Anyone? So I think either they know everything or everything has gone about.
Start from today.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thank you. We can have a group photo very quickly.